What is up, YouTube? We are back and better than ever in a new digs, new studio, new co-host. Look at this shit. We got Mr. Bob Mendell.
What's up?
The new man on my left-hand side here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for accepting the offer, man.
Yeah,
and we're not having you. You're here.
I've been on the show quite a few times.
You have been on.
So yeah,
that's why you were one of our first choices when we needed a new co-host. So
excellent.
Bob's here, I'm here, you're here. Stay tuned. On this episode, we're talking Venom.
Guys, you do not want to do this, trust me.
Unfortunately. So, this is Dogmatic Media. Alright, like we said in the beginning, on this episode, we are tackling Venom. So we wanted to try to, on the new Dogmatic Media, to get a new movie, watch it as soon as we can, get it out to you guys so you can, decide whether you want to see it or don't want to see it. So Bob and I are going to talk about this train wreck of a fucking movie. And then we're going to, you decide for yourself. So Bob, what were your thoughts on
obviously
Venom?
Spoilers.
Spoilers are, yeah.
Okay.
So if you're,
So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this yet. Yeah. Watch it after. Overall, I thought it was a fun watch. I didn't love it, and I didn't hate it. My biggest issues with the movie itself were obviously the origin story.
All right, so let's touch on that.
Okay.
So now we've talked previously on camera and off camera about movies and origin stories, and it's almost impossible to get it right. You can't go exactly by a comic book because a comic book has months and months and years to get a story written out. So you can't really condense all of that into a 2-hour movie. Right. But they could have done so much better with this.
They could have done way better.
So much better.
The whole storyline with the shuttle coming down, and did you catch the Jonah name, the Jonason name?
Yeah. The astronaut, Jonah's son.
That's Jonah's son. Right. And
so there was a little nod.
There was a few nods. There's quite a few nods because they also talk about Eddie Brock's history in New York. Right. So they're kind of hinting.
No mention of the big guy. No mention of the big guy.
No mention.
And it should have been mentioned because that is how Venom came to be.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're a fan of Venom and comic books, you know exactly who.
Like we were saying before, we know Sony still has some stuff. They sold off some of the rights to Marvel, but I thought it was only for a 2-movie deal or something like that. And I think that counts. It must be 3 because the new movie coming out as well.
There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out soon. Yeah.
So it must be a 3-movie deal. So they could have done a little bit more. At least maybe have Venom go to space and get the suits somehow.
That would have been.
It would have been a lot better. Exactly. My other biggest problem was the fact there was no spider on said suit because the origin was screwed up.
It really was.
So it really kind of, other than his face and kind of the way he moved, it didn't really resemble Venom to me.
I did like how when finally saw him turn into Venom. Yeah, like the symbiote got inside of him and bonded and all that stuff. But when he finally came out as Venom and he was like climbing up the walls, that is how Venom moves in the books.
Oh yeah,
which was awesome. I love that.
A lot of the movements. And then when he was running
the animal,
the animal running, that was very Venom. But it didn't feel like it was in the same universe as Spider-Man, which it's supposed to.
It has to be. It has to be. So
even the face, like the face was the Spider-Man suit.
It is.
So like
where did
all
that come
of a sudden, where did it come from?
Where did that come from?
This alien just decided to come up with that face?
Now, before we started filming, you and I talked about how Venom came to be, and Spider-Man got the suit and the symbiote and all that other stuff. So we're not going to get too deep into that. It had to be there. Like there had to be something.
They had to like a montage or something. I don't even care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just a quick nod or whatever the fuck, but it fell short on that.
Yeah. Hey, maybe even just have Spider-Man in the beginning throw the suit down and
just
then all of a sudden, boom! I grabbed the suit.
Right.
I got
it.
So
because that's how. That's how Venom comes to be. His hatred, the symbiote's hatred for Peter Parker, Eddie Brock's hatred for Peter Parker, and they form, and that's like what consumes Venom.
And the whole thing where he's in San Francisco, and like we said, he made the reference to New York. Yeah, but
there was no. That was it. There was no.
It was in New York where all this went down.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I think it fell short. Another area where I feel they fell short was the writing. I felt it was very, very juvenile.
It was very kid
very
oriented.
Yes.
And for a PG-13 movie, you know,
Venom is not PG-13.
No,
Venom's not even close to PG-13.
Yeah. It should have been an R-rated movie because the horror and the gore factor of what he does.
A villain of his caliber deserves an R rating.
I thought we were going to see some.
And if you were going to do PG-13, there's no reason why you have to dull down and dumb down the writing the way that they did.
I thought we were going to see full-on heads getting chewed
That
up.
too, and it was just even like the dialogue was just like I felt when Eddie Brock is talking to Annie. Like I felt like this was written in 1954.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was very old school, very like simple. It felt really short for me.
I just don't mind the humor aspect of it, but it was almost like he was an idiot. And Eddie Brock, I never thought was an idiot.
No, absolutely
like he kind of came off like he wasn't that smart, you know. And Eddie Brock was actually supposed to be pretty smart. He just was always one-upped by Peter Parker.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He was never a dumb character.
Right.
He was just the bad luck character.
Exactly.
You know, Peter was always there getting the shot of Spider-Man that he wanted, or
exactly.
You know, whatever the case was. And this Eddie Brock is just kind of like a dunce,
exactly.
a dope.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But when they want him to be, then in other parts, he's this, you know, super detective.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's always breaking the news on the really bad people in town, and he's bringing this one down, bringing that one down, and then he goes after this dude with the life program, and
no consistency in the characters.
Yeah.
The poor writing. You mentioned the bad guy.
I was just going to say, what did you think? Riot.
Yes.
Riot. Now, do you remember a Riot character in Spider-Man universe? I personally don't
think so. I do know that there was a time where there were a lot of symbiotes.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of different characters. I don't really remember. Right. There might be. That character was fine. Like when him and Venom were going at it.
Yeah.
That was cool. I enjoyed that part of it. The action part of it. The guy who played the Life Force or whatever the fuck that place was
I didn't
called.
mind him. I didn't mind him.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't buy him as some megalomaniac, some Elon Musk type character. Like I just did not believe him at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I mean,
I just seemed like a squirrely little.
Well, that's kind of what they wanted, though. They were going for that. I guess. They were going for that squirrely, like he can talk to the kids all nicey, and then be a slime ball behind everyone's back. They kind of were going for that.
But even the slime ball aspect, like I didn't buy it.
All right,
like he wasn't slimy enough for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then he tells Eddie, your life is ruined, and then 6 months later, his life is ruined. It's like, how did we get here?
How did I get here?
What is going on?
Well, it's because nobody wanted to take his work because he did what he did.
And I'm sorry, but if you're engaged to a woman and you somehow get her fired by putting out the truth about somebody and she leaves you, you don't deserve that bitch in the first place. She doesn't deserve you in the first place. I didn't understand that whole thing at all.
Well,
you got me fired. Here's your ring back. We're done. Like what? What do you? Why?
And then 6 months later, she's got some dude living with
her.
Yeah.
He's a doctor and all this shit, and now they're trying to help him. It fell short for me in so many different aspects. I mean, the good parts were, Venom trashing the city, getting to where he needs to be. Yep. Him fighting off the guys.
What did you think of the car chase?
Him on the bike?
The bike car chase.
It was
very cartoony.
It was, and I noticed two things of that were on the technical side. He's riding down the street on the motorcycle, and you can clearly tell that it's a stunt person.
Really?
Clearly tell. Notice. Two different stunt people.
Was it a woman by any chance?
I don't know, but I'm watching. I'm like normally you're like, all right, obviously that's not Harden riding the motorcycle, right. But I mean they were like right there on his face, and like you can clearly tell this is not Eddie Brock. This is a fucking some other dude.
Yeah. There was one scene.
Two different guys, not just one different guy. Two different guys.
There was one scene in the trailer that before I went and saw it that I remembered distinctly, and I thought it was Venom, but it ended up being that Riot character.
Yeah.
Where he's got these like big like sickle type things, and he does this to the whole room. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but the CG was just not good in that.
on that
that scene, the CG was just not good.
Yeah.
But as a whole, the CG was okay.
It was decent.
You know decent. It was pretty good.
I mean, it's kind of hard the way he is in the comic books to get that precise and make it look real.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did I'll give them that. They did a decent job with that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and like I said, the fight between Riot and Venom, I thought was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of anticlimactic. The fight part was
the build up to it. Like it was just all of a sudden, like this guy, he gets the symbiote, and like the symbiotes know each other, and Venom was like, I was a loser on my plan. Like,
I know. That what was that all about? It's like, yeah, I'm a loser too, so we're losers. So let's hang out.
That's what I mean. It was like this juvenile, a 12-year-old be like, oh yeah, it's great.
Right. Well, they're trying to that's what they were looking for with the PG-13. You know what I mean?
Right, but there has to be, and I know that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
But there has to be some level of people like us that grew up reading the comics, loving Spider-Man, loving Venom, loving that interaction between the two. There has to be some homage for us.
Absolutely.
You know
I mean, they probably should not have done this movie until they had the rights back, which right now is pretty much happening very soon. Like I just read online, like the deal is going faster than they thought it was going to go. So why don't they just hold this back, slap a Spider-Man logo on Venom's chest, do a quick little montage in the beginning.
Or not even that, but they have a new Spider-Man movie coming out.
Have him come out in that.
And have Eddie Brock back. Have Eddie Brock introduced into that.
Right.
And then once that all comes down, and then you have I don't know. There's so many different ways they could have gone about this, and it fell short. I mean, what I did enjoy was the end scene when Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
But
I enjoyed that
again, how are they explaining it? Like, there's gonna be carnage. All right, so where'd you get your suit, dude? Where'd you get your suit?
Well, I'm assuming
you were supposed to get the suit also from the same symbiote. That,
well, I'm assuming that somehow, if they do go down this road, and this would be the best way that would satisfy me, is that he's there in this interview. There's some kind of altercation, and Eddie Brock ends up getting cut or hurt somehow.
Or somehow someone smuggled one of those symbiotes to him that they got on the ship.
That too.
You know?
There's a lot of ways that they can make up for their downfalls in this movie with the next movie, whenever that is happening.
I hope so. Well, it's going to be quick because it did record numbers at the box office.
Did it really?
It did pretty damn good. I don't know if it was record, but it did pretty damn good.
I did notice the theater I was in was
if I'm not mistaken, but it did pretty damn well, man. Like
I guess, and basically that's all that matters.
That's all the studio matters.
That's all that matters.
You know what I mean? They'll consider it. They'll consider it a success because look at all the DC movies that everyone says are terrible, and they're still throwing them out there. You know, they'll listen to us to an extent, but as long as there's money being made, they're just going to keep going with it. You know.
But I do not recommend this movie. I don't. If you're a hardcore Venom fan, just do yourself the favor.
I recommend it. I recommend it for a popcorn cruncher movie. That's pretty much it. I guess. If you want something to watch, I personally, now that I've seen it, would probably wait for like Redbox on demand, something like that. I wouldn't rush out.
You're already paying for HBO.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush out to the theater to see it, but I'm going to buy the Blu-ray when it comes out because I'm a collector. Really? You know, I gotta have all the Marvel stuff. You know.
I know, but I love Venom. Like I have the origin of Cletus Cassidy in a comic book at home.
I'm sure you do.
I mean, I have Venom and Spider-Man, all of those comic books.
Yep.
I can't.
But you still don't know who Riot is.
That might have been like after.
Yeah. Well, they came out with a bunch of like Marvel Knights and all that stuff.
Yeah, maybe
they came out with a bunch of other stuff.
I was like 14 and comic books weren't cool anymore. And it was like Pantera.
It's when you found girls.
Well, yes, that's true. That's true.
So
that love of females has never ended. But,
so in a scale, what are we doing? 1 to 10?
Yeah, we'll do 1 to 10.
1 to 10. All right, go ahead.
1 to 10. I'm gonna give this movie 2.53.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't.
That low, huh?
That low, man.
I'm gonna give it.
And I wanted to love this movie.
Yeah.
And I went in, like I said, we've talked before about how you can't really expect everything to be true to the comics. You have to kind of put that suspension off to the side. And I tried. I really tried. But it was just too convoluted for me, so I can't go higher than a 3. 2.53.
I'm gonna give it a 6. And I give it a 6. It's better than middle of the road, but it's and the 6 is mainly just because the character moved okay. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it to the extent of it had some cool, exciting fight scenes and whatnot. You know, the scene in the apartment was pretty cool, where he's kind of not really knowing what's going on. The suit was taking over and all that. That was kind of cool.
It was, but I don't know. Another thing I noticed too is, you ever see the memes with Tom Cruise and he's got the single tooth in the middle? He doesn't have the. Tom Hardy has that. Tom Hardy has a single tooth. There's no space in the middle. It's like a single tooth.
But he gets the ladies.
Because he's Tom Hardy and he's rich.
Did you ever see the MySpace pictures that he had put up back in the day? By the way,
no.
You might want to Google that. Google it. It's pretty hilarious.
And Tom Hardy vapes too.
Does he really?
He's a vapor.
Oh, man.
Tom Hardy is a vapor. That's why I gave it a 2.5.
You're really going to vape on screen, aren't you? Oh, man.
All right. If you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button down there. You know what I mean? Subscribe to us. You get to see all of our videos. You get little notifications every time. If you liked what you saw, hit the thumbs up button.
If you didn't like what you saw, hit the thumbs down twice. Oh, and comment.
We want to hear your feedback. You give us feedback, we can make the show better and bigger and to more for what you want to see.
Absolutely.
So interact with us. It'll be cool. Bye.